When blueberries are in season, one of the things I love to make is blueberry muffins. So in this video, I am making a blueberry muffin with Greek yogurt. Keep watching. If you're new to my channel, I'm Denise Jordan, and I teach women to make wise home health and beauty decisions. So if you want to learn more about running a household, start now by hitting that subscribe button and tapping that little bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Okay, let's get into it. I just love blueberries, and when I was a little girl, I'd always end up with a blue tongue from eating so many blueberries. And then my mom would make blueberry muffins, and so I thought I would make some blueberry muffins today, but a little bit healthier version with Greek yogurt. They are delicious and sweet and oh so good with a cup of coffee or just with a glass of milk. So let's get that started. So the first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 400 degrees. So one of the first things I'm going to do is to spray my muffin pans with a little bit of cooking spray, and I'm going to set them aside. I don't often use those muffin liners. I don't know why. I've just never cared for them. So now I'll set these aside, and then I'll start getting some things out. So I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients in this bowl, and then I'll put my wet ingredients in a different bowl, and I'll put them together. So let's get that started. I'll bring you closer up so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put 1½ cups of whole wheat flour into this bowl. And I need a ½ teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I put the baking powder in off camera. And a ½ teaspoon of fine ground sea salt. Well, I don't have fine ground sea salt. What I have is coarse ground sea salt. But I do have a mortar and pestle. So I will put it in there, and I will grind it up. I picked this little mortar and pestle up at Marshall's on sale one day. They had it on clearance. And I'm really glad I did. There. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And in case you're wondering, these are Tupperware teaspoons. Or rather, Tupperware measuring spoons. I've had them for years, and they're the best measuring spoons I've ever bought. If you're able to pick up a set, I encourage you to do so. Now we'll just whisk this together. So now that I've got these dry ingredients whisked together, it's time for me to mix my wet ingredients. So I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to put 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil into this bowl. And then 1/2 cup of honey. This honey is so good. I will admit, I did squirt a little bit on my finger to lick, but I got it from a company that raises bees, or I should say keeps bees. So I'm going to whisk this honey and the oil together. And I just love these mixing bowls. These used to be my grandmother's mixing bowls, so they're quite old, but they do make a vintage style mixing bowl just like these, so they are still available today. I'll put a link below in case you're interested in checking them out. But I just love using them because every time I use them, I think of her. And I've really been into healthy cooking lately, but I love muffins in the morning, particularly with coffee and things like that. You know, I just remembered when my dad was alive, I would make muffins on Sunday mornings, and I'd take them over and I'd sit there and have coffee with him, and he would eat the muffins and drink his coffee, and we would chat. I hadn't done about that for quite a while. But okay, so now this is looking pretty good. It's mixed up pretty good right there. So it's a little bit thinner, but this honey is amazing. I got this honey from a home and garden show. It is the Sweet Life Honey Farm, made right here in Indiana. This one is from Huntington, Indiana, and I'll put a link to their website below just in case you're interested, because the honey is really delicious. Some of the best honey I've had in quite a while. Now I'm going to add the eggs and whisk those in. Get this honey and egg and oil all mixed together. So now I've got the vanilla in. Now let's add the yogurt. I love this little spatula here. It's actually a spatula for my blender, for my Vitamix, but it works really well to get things out of, like if there's a corner or something like that. The little tip that's on it just really works really well. And now we'll put this together. And this should make the muffins pretty healthy. You notice there's no sugar. The sweet comes from the honey and the blueberries. There's also no butter. We're using extra virgin olive oil. So these are really healthy muffins. And I found this recipe on a website called Cookies and Kate. I will link it below so that you can see it, but she's really into a lot of healthy options. And when I saw this recipe with the Greek yogurt, which I was wanting one that I could use with yogurt instead of milk, and I thought I will give this one a try. Okay, now let's pour the wet into the dry. So I made a well in the center of my dry ingredients. And now I'm going to stir this together with this wooden spoon. And I must say, it's looking pretty good. Several of the recipes will call for wheat flour, and they will ask for white wheat flour. Well, my wheat flour has just a little bit of a brown tinge to it. But I like the hardiness, you know, the graininess that you get with wheat flour. It's just really nice. So I'm going to stir this together until just mixed like that. And then I'll add my blueberries. So before I add the blueberries, I need to toss them with some flour. So let me do that real quick. So I'll put the blueberries in this bowl. And I will sprinkle them with a tablespoon of flour. And then I'll just toss them. And the whole purpose of putting the flour on the blueberries is that it just kind of coats them so that they don't sink to the bottom of the batter. It gives them just a little bit extra traction, or a little bit extra, I don't know, friction on the edge of the blueberries so that they don't just immediately sink in the batter. So you get them tossed and see how nicely coated they are. And then I'll just fold them. Into the batter, and I'm going to fold them gently because I don't want to break up the blueberries. And this batter is already starting to rise. Kind of makes me think of, you know when you make cornbread and you let it sit for a couple of minutes so that it can form a nice teak? Well, that's what we're starting to get here. Take a look. Just really starting to get kind of thick. And now I'll just sprinkle a little sugar, a little turbinado sugar on the top. Now this is kind of a crystallized sugar. It's like that sugar you get at Starbucks to put in your coffee. It's sugar crystals and it stands up to the heat of the oven. So we'll have a nice little crystal glaze on the top, but without adding too much sweet. So whereas this sugar is just a tad bit sweet, it's not like super sweet. All right, now let's get these in the oven. And now we'll let them cook for about 20 minutes and we'll get them out and we'll see how they're tasting. So I'll come back in a little bit. So while they're baking, I'll clean up this stuff that I've gotten out and then we'll see what's what. I'm going to insert a toothpick in the center to see if it comes out clean. And it does. That means they are ready. Oh, these are beautiful. Oh my goodness. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'll let you see. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm gonna let these cool in the pan for about 10 minutes and then I'll take them out and put them on the cooling racks and let them come to room temperature. And then I'm going to have one with a little bit of butter. So, see you in a few minutes. Okay, let's break one open. I can't wait to try them. Oh, look at that. Look at that interior. So many blueberries and oh my goodness, it looks so moist. Rich, moist, delicious. Now you note that these muffins are just a little bit more brown because of my whole wheat flour. If you use white whole wheat flour, they'll be a little bit more golden, but these are delicious. Let me grab some butter. Amazing. I think I actually like the taste of these without the butter. All I need now is a cup of coffee. They're wonderful, nice, hearty, healthy, and such a treat made from summer's sweets of blueberries. If you like this video, I've got another healthy blueberry muffin recipe and I will link it with an iCard above and also in the description box below. And I also made a kickin' blackberry cobbler recipe that you might be interested in. It's one of Martha Stewart's classics and oh my goodness. So iCard above and link it below. And these are part of my series, the fruits of the season. So these are all going to be some summer sweets made from the fruits of the season. So check that playlist out. I think you'll be very interested in it. Now here's the thing, I used non-fat Greek yogurt in my recipe, and according to the instructions you can use any percentage fat in your Greek yogurt as you choose, but the higher the fat content, the richer the muffin will be, but then of course that increases the caloric value. The other thing is about storage. One of the things that I've learned recently when you're making muffins that are this rich is you want to store them in an airtight container. Line the container with paper towels at the bottom and then put another layer of paper towels over the top. And you can keep them like that in a container for a couple of days. Or you can even store them in the fridge for about 5 days. And then you can, of course, always freeze them for up to 3 months. So what makes them healthy? Well, first of all, I used 100% whole wheat flour, and my whole wheat flour is brown, so that's why my muffins tend to be a bit more brown. I used non-fat Greek yogurt, but keep in mind that the higher the fat percentage, the richer the muffins, but it doesn't matter which one you use. They taste good either way. And then of course we used honey to sweeten it instead of refined sugar. And just so you know, I've raised 3 children. I've managed a home for more than 45 years, and I am a nurse by profession. So if you want to learn more about running a household, cooking and cleaning and laundry and health and beauty, subscribe. I would love to have you as a member of the TNT community. In the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying goodbye. I will see you in the next video.